Hello, good evening. How are you? Or good morning, depending upon which part of the world you are in. Today, it's 6th January 2021. Technically, the first week of January is over. And this year onwards, as we all know, mostly the CFA aspirants would be knowing that there has been a sea change as far as the program is concerned. Namely, you can take now your level 1 exam 4 times a year, which hitherto were only given twice a year. Level 2s and the level 3s are now being offered 2 times a year, while they were only offered once a year till last year. And not only that, the traditional paper based exams are done away with. December 2020 was the last ever batch which took the exam in the traditional paper based format. From now onwards, it's going to be completely computer based, which means that the candidates will have to adapt to the new means and the methodologies by which they will be undertaking the exam. So it's a whole new experience altogether. So I thought that it would be an apt time for all of us, all of you, to have a little bit of brush off of exactly what we can expect going forward. Before I dive in, I would like to place a small disclaimer that this is my own material based upon my understanding, and the institute has got nothing to do with it. CFA Institute does not promote my product, does not endorse my product. My products and my contents are more or less equivalent to any other third-party prep provider. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what are the changes across the level 1s and level 2s and level 3s. As you all been knowing that May and August and November and February. So these four months are the ones where the level 1s will be offered. Level 2 and level 3 will be offered in May, while level 2 will again be offered in August, and level 3 will be offered in November. There has been a one-time change which has been accorded. Because of the prevalent situation, there has been many centers which have eventually had to undergo cancellation, and the candidates which were supposed to take those centers as their examination point in December 2020 would have already rescheduled their exam. So they would be taking their exam in the month of March. So in 2021, technically speaking, we have 5 windows for level 1 exam, while there will be 2 windows for level 2s and level 3s. 2022 onwards, there will be 4 windows for level 1 and 2 windows for level 2s and level 3s. Okay, and one more important thing that we all need to understand is that between 2 successive levels, the institute categorically says that they would like to give a cooling off period of 6 to 9 months. And that is essential. That is to keep in mind that nobody should actually try and gain this exam. On the face of it, it might look that the time scale has really been shortened. You can actually acquire in your charter in no time. We will look into it, and you will understand what does this mean. Okay. So the infographics which has been provided by the CFA Institute, I'm just recollecting all of that. So if you were to take the level 1 exam in February 2021, and assuming that you pass your level 1 exam in the February window itself, you will be eligible to sit for the level 2 exam in August, passing of which will lead you to take the level 3 exam in May 2022. Now, let's understand the timeline out here. So if we are talking about the level 1 exam, so that would mean that you would have gone, there is some prep time also out here, right? And ideally speaking, I believe that 6 months is an apt period for preparation. So if I take 6 months, so February, beyond 6 months, or any date that is leading from the preparation time to February, that would be somewhere around, I believe, October. So, sorry, it's going to be September. So you have September, October, November, December, and Jan and February. So technically, you would have started your preparation from September 2020. And then if you take your exam in February 2021, and assuming you pass your exam, obviously you would immediately like to sign up for level 2 exam, of course, depending upon your other commitments, which is going to be held in August. And then this straight arrow, if you look at it, so from September 2020 till, which is your L1, till your May 2022. So this is roughly equivalent to it's around 21 months, 22 months. So this is a realistic assumption. This is a realistic picture which I would like to project. And this is how things should be. So nothing really has changed. Earlier also we would take the exam and it would take somewhere between 28, somewhere around 24 months to complete the program. That is, if one completes the program in the minimal possible time. Now it's just shortened by, you would see, by a month or two, because you have to also take into consideration your prep time. Oftentimes, and I believe that some of the unscrupulous prep providers, they are marketing that, well, the charter can actually be obtained in less than 18 months. Well, that is really not the case. And that is not the case because of so many other reasons also. But, this is the realistic picture, that you would still be, completing your program in somewhere roughly around 2 years, if you have a back-to-back successive pass. If not, then the obviously choice is that you take your level 1 exam. Unfortunately, if you don't pass the exam, you again sit for the exam in August 2021, passing of which that would lead to you taking the February 2022 exam, and so on and so forth. So the minimum time to complete the program is still somewhere around 22 months. And this I would like to really emphasize upon, lest you are completely disillusioned. Okay. Now, coming back to some of the important aspect, that the number of readings has been reduced from what it was to 58 readings only. That's 58 from 58 readings. It is now reduced to 57 readings. And the major changes has been in the financial reporting and analysis, which actually comprises of various accounting standards in revenue and lease recognition, and more emphasis has been put towards them. All right. Let's also look at the topic area. The highlighted portion, of course, is the one which you should lay your emphasis upon, because this really is very, very important area because of the introduction of new accounting rules and standards. Other than that, the significant change that is there is hitherto till 2019, the topic areas were earmarked for a fixed particular weight, at least in level 1. Now that has been changed to a band. So, for example, if we were to talk about, let's say, ethics, so ethics earlier you had 15% weightage. Now that weightage has been changed from 15% to 20%. Okay, so quant used to be 12%, which got reduced to 10% in 2020. Now it has come into a band of 8 to 12%. Now, one more important thing that I would like to highlight out here is the pattern of questions. So what is meant by pattern of questions? Well, The pattern of question means that now you're not going to be given the questions in a particular topic area at any given point of time. You will get all the questions possibly in a jumbled fashion. What is meant by jumbled fashion? It means simply that you might open your booklet, or or you might sit for the exam and you'll suddenly see that there are four questions right away from the econ section, followed by two questions from quant, and then again it jumps to six questions of ethics, so stuff like that. Okay, so there are not going to be fixed pattern. If you have followed the graph before, so level 2 is just an extension of level 1. I'm not going to get into the deeper aspect of it. The infographics is fairly consistent and fairly simple to understand, and this has been directly taken from the CFA Institute itself. I would just like to highlight the major changes. Major changes has been that the total number of readings are 48 in place of 51, and the major changes has been in the FRA section, wherein the intercorporate investments have undergone a major overhaul because, of course, understandably because of the changes in the accounting laws and standards. Apart from that, a lot of emphasis is now being given to machine learning, these areas, big data, and ESG considerations. So these are the things of the future, and CFA would like to metaphorize themselves to be in tune with the reality of the market. As before, the topic areas have remained fairly consistent over the year. The only thing is that I would like to highlight is the FRA position, of course, as has been discussed before. This is an area which I wouldn't say it would prove challenging, but it might be a little different than what you would have encountered or what you would have anticipated so far. That is, of course, not to say that in any way you would like to gain the other subjects. No, you should not. You should, level 2 is where the men are separated from the boys. So I would strongly advise against gaming any particular section, and in particular, the fee subjects are going to be, very, very important because they would build the basic foundation. Fee subjects are basically F stands for FRA, E stands for your ethics. Remember, it's the same stuff we read from level 1 to level 3, and E stands for equity. So along with that, fixed income is again one more area where CFI is bringing in major overhaul, but those changes are pretty gradual in nature. They are not very abrupt on your face. That is also keeping in mind the advent and the progression of the fintech industry as a whole. Corporate finance, derivatives, all of them are important. You should not gain any subject, any topic area in any of the levels of CFA program. I really feel very, very surprised. I really feel, kind of let down when I see, some of the prominent prep providers or some of the even passerby advisors, sorry to use the term, who would promptly, abruptly on various social media and on your face would, tell you, would advise you that, if you're hard pressed for time, don't study this particular area, don't study that. I managed to pass, so why can't you? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Level 3. Well, there's really nothing to talk about. Everything is self-explanatory. Of course, after passing of level 3, the requirement of 4 years of work-ex fulfillment, either before, during, or after taking the exam, still stands same, and that would lead you to applying for the charter, which will undergo an evaluation by the board, the committee, and subsequently the charter will be awarded. Now, the important thing out here is that the topic areas for level 3 has been fairly consistent over the last 4 years. There has not been any change whatsoever. The flavor just have changed from laying too much emphasis on the portfolio management. And in portfolio management, of course, as we know that there are two parts. One is the individual, another is the institutional. Both of them would again lead to your IPS type of questions, which actually used to be our 52s, you know, realistically, practically, that used to be 50 to 60% of the total exam. This is what I have found, and this is what was there when I took my level 3 exam. But that is surely being changed now. A lot of emphasis is now being given to the fixed income and the equity portion of it. And I believe that, along with this, the derivative and risk management, that also has come up good. So this in a way is good, that in level 3, fixed income or equity, though they are still part of portfolio management only, more than as part of investment tool, the focus or the emphasis is actually the application part of it. So it's basically aggregation of whatever you have learned in your level 1 and level 2 and how you apply in a given situation. But that being said, they have been distinctly being set aside as far as the importance is concerned. So again, at the cost of repetition, that is not to say that you should underplay or you should undermine the importance of portfolio management as part of the individual portfolio or the institutional portfolio or your behavioral finance. No, don't do that. They are important. There is a reason why they are included in your syllabus. So don't play around with that. Voila. So 18 months in the charter is yours, right? That's how it used to look like. Well, if you go back to what I actually discussed in the first slide itself, it may look like, but it is not. And this is where the danger lies, because I know there will be people around you, there will be solicitors around you who would like to, place in front of you a proposition that, well, now since level 1 is being offered 4 times a year, level 2 twice a year, level 3 twice a year, so you could do it in one calendar year, which earlier used to take 4 to 5 years. I mean, it did take 4 years, 5 years time on an average to complete your CFA program. And now this can be attained and accorded, and it will be within your reach in just one single calendar year. Well, don't go for it. Don't fall for those traps, and I'll tell you why the reason for it. Remember, a CFA program is not your run-of-the-mill kind of program. It's not a sprint of 100 meter, but it is a marathon. Your brain and your system can take as much. You also need to give enough time to your system to absorb all that you have learned. And too much of information in too little time, with the focus, with the objective of somehow passing the exam, will eventually, most definitely, will lead to burnout. So you need to save yourself from that. Though the exam window has been made more flexible than what it used to be, that does not mean the CFI is going to compromise on the quality. Okay? So keep in mind and take your time. Take your time. Just to prolong from what we had discussed in the last slide, I have given this link here, which otherwise also you can either copy paste or you can search it for yourself. The pass rate, the historical pass rate from 1963, the first time ever the program was offered, till 2019 is a meager 11%. That is if you are straight out, which means you take the exam back to back and you pass the exam back to back on successive attempts in your first attempt itself. If we take the window from 2010 to 2019, the last decade that I'm talking about, well, the last decade, the pass rate is slightly lower than what it historical is in a straight arrow fashion, which is around close to 9.5% only. Okay, and please do remember that the kind of candidates that you actually will be competing against. So they are going to be it's a global exam, right? You would be pitched against experienced professionals, you would be pitched against retakers, so and your performance is only relative to the above group. Okay, given of course that this your own performance is only under your control, not the others. But these are the things that you need to keep in mind. The exam is divided into two halves of 2.5 hours each. Proportionately, the questions have also been reduced. There is an optional break of 30 minutes, and that 30 minutes is supposed to, refreshing you. You're supposed to regroup yourself before you take the second half of the exam. Now, a bonus slide for all of you. I have been training and helping the CFA candidates for the last 7 years, and I have trained more than 3,000 CFA aspirants. I have not only the CFA qualification or the FRM qualification to my credit, but I have had an exposure to the real world as well. As an investment banker, I have raised more than $600 million. I have had multiple JVs assigned under my belt. So I think I know how to connect the dots, connect the practicality of the courses to the theoretical content. Believe me, when I were in your shoes, I also had my own set of challenges. So understanding and respecting that, there is a freebie which I would like to offer to all of you, all the CFA aspirants. Pick up one area. Pick up one area across all the 3 levels. That means one area from level 1, one area from level 2, and one area from level 3, which you believe are the most challenging, are the most daunting. Okay? Comment below in the box, subscribe to my channel, or you may mail me as well. If I receive enough responses, I'm going to cover that particular area, not only for the tutorials but also for the exams, mock exams and tests, and those will be freely available. Okay, so I look forward to it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to comment below or reach out to me. Thank you.